Hey there everybody, I'm outside of the Apple Tree Learning Center out here at our short game facility, trying to answer one of the most asked questions, which is how do I hit the ball out of the thick lies around the greens and get it to stop pretty quickly. So three major ingredients here are going to be the tool that you're using, which is your wedge obviously, or your club. Second one is going to be your setup, and finally obviously is going to be technique. So when you're in thick lies around the greens, and I'm really going to keep this to lies that are buried or have quite a bit of grass around it, you need speed. When it comes to speed, you're going to need something to offset that speed, and that's going to be the loft of your golf club. So what you're going to find, and what I've seen over the course of my career, is years ago I used to play more with a sand wedge, and I used to play things off the back of my stance, and nowadays I find myself using a lob wedge for almost everything and having to hit it a bit harder. So if you have a lob wedge, I suggest you use it. That's 60 degrees of loft. If it's in your garage, I suggest you grab it and use it, because at St. Andrews we've got elevated greens, we've got a lot of contours, a lot of areas where the ball can really kind of shoot away from you, so you need to have a little bit of height on your shots, and you need to have stopping power. Okay? You should get with your professional. Many of you have gone through wedge fittings with me over the years, and we've had some great success in just educating our members and guests about how a wedge works. Just really quickly, low bounce wedges are going to be less forgiving, more for a highly skilled player, and more for very firm lies, which we don't really see here. We don't see many firm lies around here per se. Then you've got medium bounce wedges, which are going to be a little bit more versatile for all conditions, and then you've got high bounce wedges, which are really geared towards maximum forgiveness and for players who like to hold the face very square as opposed to holding a little bit open. When you've got bounce, which is the angle between the trail edge of your golf club, versus the leading edge, that angle creates your bounce angle, and when that sole hits the ground, it's going to bounce up and project the ball out of the lie. Not enough bounce, you'll chunk the ball a lot. Too much bounce, it'll actually bounce off the ground too quickly and really shoot the ball out further than you intended. But make sure you get with one of your professionals during your next lesson, or certainly call me and we'll set up a wedge fitting so that we can just educate you a little bit about that and make you a better wedge player. All right, so setup is going to be, and I want you to take this with a grain of salt because everybody's different in our angle of attack and the way we swing a golf club. So just as a starting point, I want you to set up with the ball in the center of your stance. Weight is going to be left. That's going to help the club work down into the ground, which is actually what we want to do, because we want the sole to hit the ground and then let the sole bounce the club into the golf ball and shoot it out. That's going to give us our most consistent result, as opposed to trying to slide the club under and guess it, perfectly, or trying to play it way back in the stance and just delicately pop it out. The grass is too thick for that. It's going to stop the club from moving, and then we're going to leave the ball short of the green. All right, so face is going to be slightly open, so I'm talking about just opening a little bit, and what that does is it sits the club on the trail edge here so that the club can utilize the bounce a bit better. Weight's forward, 70%. It's going to stay forward as we swing back, and as we swing down, it's only going to move more to our left. We never want to shift our weight back to our right side for a right-handed golfer. Ball is going to be in the center as a starting point. Again, we're going to play around with that a little bit based on your technique and the way you swing a club. Face open. We're going to swing the club back. Big thing here is we're going to rotate through. When we rotate through, this is going to help the face stay open. If the face stays open, you're always going to be playing off the bounce of the club, the sole of the club, and the ball is always going to go high and land soft. If our body stops rotating, the toe will cross over the heel, the ball is going to come out lower, more left, and obviously go quite a bit further. All right, so here's an example. Ball's in the center, weight's left, and up she goes. All right. The hardest part of this shot is having your body move as much as it's moving and swinging as hard as we're swinging, because we're only trying to hit this about 10 yards, this particular shot. And that's something you have to practice so that you get a feel and a level of comfortability when it comes time to playing on the course. So again, weights left, swing back, rotate through, face stays pointed up to the sky. That ball flew about 9 or 10 yards and it rolled about 4 feet. And that's what we're looking for around here on these elevated greens with the small target areas and the different tiers and levels we have. You don't have to use it on every shot, but it's a great shot to have, and especially around this golf course, you're going to use it quite a bit, and really around a lot of the golf courses in our area, you're going to use this shot quite a bit, as the rough has gotten quite a bit thicker with the feeding and the watering programs that all the superintendents have that keep these courses in such great condition. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Mike or Ambry. We're here to help, and hope that helps your game, and we'll talk to you soon.